fight, and I have Crawford winning this fight. Crawford's going to win this fight doing something that nobody's done to Canelo.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say. And it didn't take me going to camp to know this.
Okay.
If he doesn't fight the one way that he can only fight to win it, Terence Crawford has 6 ways he can win it. And my money will go on the man who has 6 ways to win it over the man who has 1 way to win it.
It's going to be the same version of guy that's going to show up in September? No. I mean, Canelo, he didn't look as fit as he did his last fight. He looked listless. He looked like he didn't care. He didn't have the crowd behind him.
Shawn Porter is sure that Terence Crawford will take down Canelo Alvarez. He says Crawford's training is on another level and that he'll step into this fight with a plan and execution that boxing has never seen before. Porter believes Crawford's speed, accuracy, and discipline will be too much for Canelo, leading to a legendary performance that could go down as one of the most dominant wins the sport has ever witnessed.
So if Crawford's going to win this fight, he'll surprise people in the fashion he does it in. Because a lot of people picking Crawford, they think foot speed and turn Canelo all night. And I'm like, nah, he's
born victory?
No, it's just he's definitely a lot better than the guys of the last couple years who have tried to beat Canelo that way, Billy Joe, Caleb. But even though he's better than them, it didn't. That game plan, it just didn't. It didn't work. So it's not gonna look like that if Crawford pulls this off. It's gonna look different than that. To your point,
Roy Jones Jr., one of boxing's sharpest voices, says Terence Crawford is a more versatile fighter in this matchup. According to Jones, Crawford has 6 different ways he can win, all built on his adaptability, ring IQ, and ability to make in-fight adjustments. Jones, however, thinks Canelo Alvarez has only one path: keep constant pressure and land his trademark power shots. He made it clear that if Canelo doesn't bring his absolute best, Crawford's variety of strategies will overwhelm him. The Hall of Famer sided with Crawford, stressing that adaptability often decides elite fights, especially when skills are close but the strategy gap is massive.
He does have a chance, and I think he could be victorious. If he doesn't fight the one way that he can only fight to win it, Terence Crawford has 6 ways he can win it. And my money will go on the man who has 6 ways to win it over the man who has 1 way to win it.
So you think Canelo has to kind of fight the perfect fight, right?
If he don't, he's in trouble. If he does, he should be all good.
Let's talk about the weight a little bit, right? Because we all know everything you accomplished as a heavyweight. What is Terence dealing with right now?
I don't think Terence dealing with much of anything, because Terence did like I did as a heavyweight. He bulked up to the weight. He been dealing with super middles and light heavyweights in training. If you can deal with him in training, you can deal with him in the fight. So the weight should not even be an issue.
Do you think Terence is that one fighter where he could accomplish what a lot of people are thinking is not doable? Is he that one fighter who's just wired and has that different DNA?
He is. And not only to mention is he the guy that can, he's already done it. How many 2 or 3 division undisputed champions have we ever had besides Usyk is a 2 division undisputed champ? This dude is a 3 division undisputed champ already. And if he win this, he'll be a 4 division undisputed champ. We may never see that again. See, people don't like to celebrate the reality when it's happening. They'll wait till the person dead and they talk about it. This man is the only 3 division undisputed champion that boxing has ever had. And are we wondering, can he step up to a task? Really? Do you know who we're talking about?
Comedian and fight fan Ari Spears shared his own historical view, pointing to decades of battles where legendary Mexican warriors went head-to-head with top African-American fighters. Spears noted that in many of those high-profile fights, the black boxers usually came out on top. He explained that slick defense, sharp counterpunching, and adaptability have often shut down aggressive Mexican pressure fighters. Spears admitted Canelo is one of the most complete and tested champions of his era, but he framed this fight as another chapter in a long history where speed, defense, and ring IQ usually beat raw forward pressure.
A top-notch Hispanic fighter, put him against the top-notch black fighter, the black dude usually edges him out. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the Latino fighters, because look at the greats. De La Hoya, motherfucking
Roberto
Duran, Arguello, Felix Trinidad, what's my man's name? Chavez. So there have been legends, but 9 times out of 10, when the top Mexican legend takes on the top black legend, the black dude wins. Boxing and basketball is just something that niggas just, we got that wop wop that just, we edge you out. We edge you out. Duran lost to Hagler. He got knocked out so viciously by Hearns. Rumor is he's still waking up today. He lost he did the no mas with Leonard.
Yeah, no, I've been hanging out with Sugar Ray Leonard recently. We talked about that whole situation.
Lost to Floyd. Yeah. He lost to Bernard. He lost to Sugar Shane Mosley. Usually the black fighters edge out the Latinos when it come down to it.
So basically you're saying Crawford's going to win because he's black.
I'm saying he's going to win because he's got skills. But that black component, that's that extra juice.
That's that extra juice? I mean, look.
It's like the Batmobile when it's going fast and then he hits the nitro button and the flame shoots out of the back of the car and takes it to another level. Black dudes have the nitro switch.
Veteran journalist Dan Raphael focused on Crawford's mindset, saying the undefeated champion not only understands Canelo's dangers but welcomes them. According to Raphael, Crawford's career has always been about embracing challenges, not dodging them. Instead of crumbling under pressure, he uses big moments to sharpen his focus and raise his game. Raphael stressed that mental strength could be the X factor. He believes Crawford will enter the ring ready for absolutely anything, unfazed by the spotlight.
I was really excited that Terence Crawford, when we were going through some of the historical things that could take place if he wins this fight, what they would mean. And at the end of that part of the conversation, he says, there's a lot riding on this fight. Like, he knows it. I don't think he feels pressure from it. I think he embraces that. But I like to hear that the fighter understands the magnitude of this fight and embraces that and realizes, like the general public that follows boxing or the media, that this is a bigger deal than your average fight, and that he is keenly aware of that. So I love that. He was very, very well spoken, and we discussed a lot of different topics, and I think people will get a kick out of it. It's on our podcast feed. It'll be up on the YouTube channel, and I hope people check it out.
Sticking with Crawford, because I've spoken to a few guys in his team, and there seems to be this mindset where they really, really believe they're going to win this fight, and obviously every fighter that goes into any fight will believe they win this fight, but do you get that impression that they're in no doubt that this goes their way, and it's a case of just turning up for a payday?
Oh, absolutely. Terence Crawford has never been the kind of fighter that's just looking to take a fight to get paid. Yeah, he's going to get paid a whole ton of money, and so is Canelo Alvarez. But, if you follow Terence Crawford, if you've watched the way he fights, watch the way he conducts himself, know him at all, even just a little bit, I can't claim to be like best buddies with him, but I got a pretty good feel for Crawford, having been around him so many times for all these fights he's had. There is 0.000% chance that he is coming into this fight with anything other than victory in mind. I mean, he really believes that this is his moment to shine and create a huge addition to what's already a tremendous boxing legacy. Besides just the money, I mean, Terence Crawford can take a fight against anybody, make a good amount of money. And so while that's important, of course.
This fight is expected to be one of Crawford's toughest challenges ever. Canelo might be the best opponent he's faced, and the stakes couldn't be higher. A loss to Crawford, a naturally smaller man moving up in weight, could leave a permanent stain on Canelo's incredible career. Boxing history is built on legacy, and losing to a smaller fighter at the peak of your fame brings heavy criticism. Many argue Canelo has no choice but to win, not just for pride, but to protect his place among the all-time greats.
Legacy. And he gave a resounding yeah. A resounding yeah. He said it would massively tarnish Canelo's legacy. And some of the things that he said were just basically things that most of us know, just some register and make sure that other people know and others don't, right? But it would tarnish his legacy, and for the obvious reasons. One is we know that the guy's older. Crawford's older. He's going to be 38 years old here, right? So he's an older fighter. He's an inactive fighter, right? And most of the time, these are things that, make people say that people are going to lose. Man, he's inactive. So he's pretty inactive, hasn't fought in a year, hasn't fought more than once a year in 3 to 4 years.
Showtime analyst Showbox took a balanced view, giving credit to both fighters. He pointed out that Canelo's strength, toughness, and relentless pressure have made him dominant for years. His ability to absorb shots, set traps, and deliver brutal counters is unmatched in the division. At the same time, he praised Crawford's unique background, especially his early wrestling years, which gave him a razor-sharp sense of balance, foot placement, and the ability to read opponents in real time. Crawford's greatest weapon may actually be his athletic roots combined with his boxing brain.
He uses his legs, he uses his core, and then his neck itself to lift up Bivol like Bivol was a featherweight. That is a huge representation of how strong Canelo is. When you look at his workouts, you can tell why he was able to do that. All these damn neck exercises that I wouldn't dare do. Okay, that stuff looks painful. The squatting and all that stuff that he's doing is exactly why Canelo Alvarez, honestly, is a strong fighter. He tried to do it again with William Skull. William Skull shook out of it, but he is a bull. Listen, Terence Bud Crawford is strong. He is, okay? And he understands leverage and he understands those things because he wrestled. Honestly, very true. But Saul Canelo Alvarez is also extremely strong. Now, let me know how you feel in the comments.
Former champion Chris Algieri dismissed the idea that Canelo's performance against John Ryder shows what we'll see here. He argued Canelo has always raised his game when the stakes are highest. With his legacy on the line, Algieri expects Canelo to show up in top form, sharper, faster, and more aggressive than he has in years. He warned fans and analysts not to judge Canelo off tune-up fights, but to expect a real, dangerous version when everything is at risk.
Not a whole lot. It hasn't changed all that much. Listen, the Skull fight, could Canelo have done more? Absolutely. But is that going to be the same version of guy that's going to show up in September? No. I mean, Canelo, he didn't look as fit as he did his last fight. He looked listless. He looked like he didn't care. He didn't have the crowd behind him. And Marcus, you've been to a ton of Canelo fights. You know how that arena is. It is insane. Insane. In Vegas, I mean, it's deafening the entire fight. I remember when he fought BJ Saunders in Texas.
Oh my God.
And he's waving on 80,000 fans.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, he is a gladiator. You know, I called Tim a warrior. Canelo's a gladiator. He is there for the adoration of the fans. I just think that he was a little too clinical in there that night. You know, he didn't have that same drive. He had a guy who just was not willing to engage. That's not going to be Crawford, and that's not going to be Canelo. They're going to be their peak of what they are at this point. Because again, Crawford is 38 years old. Canelo will be 35 by then. So I think they're going to be the peak for what they are at their ages. But it's easy to go, wow, what have you done for me lately? That's usually how everyone kind of sees everything. So, but I think it's good. I think it makes the fight more enticing if a lot of people are thinking that Crawford can win. And don't get me wrong, Crawford can absolutely win the fight. I'm not saying he can't win the fight. But in terms of, you know, how I see it, it hasn't really changed my thoughts because I know better than to just trust that last thing I saw because there's a lot of confounding factors.
Shawn Porter and other boxing analysts broke down possible strategies for both men. They believe Crawford's key is controlling the distance, using sharp angles, and stopping Canelo from planting his feet to throw bombs. By constantly changing range and rhythm, Crawford could slow down Canelo's attack and wear him out in the later rounds. Analysts stress this fight is as much mental as it is physical. The fighter who keeps calm under pressure and sticks to their plan for all 12 rounds is the one most likely to win.
Understands that he has to be smart. And I think with this one specifically, it ain't just about being smart. He knows he has to look like he's never looked before. Because again, if he doesn't and he beats Canelo, everybody's just going to say, well, that's Crawford. You know, so I think he knows that this is the performance of a lifetime and everything has to look right. He knows in order for it to look right, he can't just go out there and let the dog go. The dog is, you know, you got to work his way up to the dog. Yeah. Hey, show the clip real quick. I don't know if you showed it already, but this is the dog you're talking about right here, right? And so I pulled this clip right here. I seen it on social media this morning.
Don't do that. That's what I'm saying.
And I pulled this clip, right? But this is Terence.
That's who he is.
He's not gonna swing on Canelo. He already know that part of the game. But what I asked you, were you ever trying to send a message to your opponents? He's letting you know, and it's no act. And that's what I really wanted to show, that's not an act.
No.
That's not, there's 30 security
I
guards.
don't know, it feels a little contrived.
You think so?
I think a lot of people feel it's a little like.
Well, I'm glad you used a big word that most of us don't know.
Hey, I don't fight as good as you guys. I had to learn some big words, right, to make up for that.
Don't look it up. Just ignore.
You
what
need big words to get out of fights. You need big words to get out of fights. But okay. So case in point, our guy Hafey sitting right there, producer extraordinaire.
Fans and media are hyped, calling this one of the most exciting fights of this era. The style clash is explosive. Canelo's relentless pressure against Crawford's surgical skills and agility. This is way more than a fight for belts. It could reshape the story of the super middleweight division and even pound-for-pound rankings. And unlike the usual hype, the split is real. Fighters, trainers, and experts are genuinely divided on who will win.
God, we just got some absolutely absurd boxing news breaking. Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford targeted for December or January in the United States. Oh my God. I'm not even lying when I say this is literally one of the biggest combat sports fights of all time. And as I said earlier, it's targeted in December or January, so the build up to this fight is going to be incredible. The fact that it's in the United States is insane. Saudi Arabia has low-key saved boxing. This is an absolutely mega fight. I was not expecting this at 1 in the afternoon, but here we are. Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez, targeted for December/January in the United States. Crazy, 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 crazy. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and click that follow button for more combat sports videos. Wow.
Boxing great Shane mostly compared Crawford's skill set to what's needed to beat bigger men. He said even if Errol Spence Jr. came back much better in a rematch, Crawford would still dominate because of his versatility and fight IQ. Mostly used Crawford dismantling of Spence as proof that size doesn't scare him. Crawford picked Spence apart with precision and completely shut down a top-level champion. Mostly thinks those same strengths could carry Crawford against Canelo, giving him a real shot to shock the world despite the weight difference. Some fans and analysts, however, question if Canelo still is the explosive burst that made him special earlier in his career.
He's ready. Right when I seen that, I said Crawford wins. His movement, he wins. It doesn't matter if Spence was not strong or strong. He had more of the stuff to win that fight. And Crawford is a game player. He's gonna come. He coming to win. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I still say Crawford anyway, but I feel bad that we didn't see the true Spence fight Crawford. If that makes any sense.
Canelo, now 35, has been through countless wars, and his output has clearly slowed in recent fights. This could give Crawford the chance to control the tempo, but critics warn that Canelo's natural size and raw power still pose serious danger. Even Crawford's biggest fans admit that moving up in weight is risky, and one defensive slip could cost him everything. This fight is the ultimate gamble, pure skill versus brute force.
You could argue Canelo got tactically wrong tonight because I just don't understand why he didn't use his jab more. I understand that he was conserving energy, he was patient, he was taking it slow. He doesn't lead off with the jab much anymore, Canelo. But really, the jab helps you bring your feet closer and bring them into range. So I don't understand why he wasn't jabbing more. It can't use that much extra energy for him to not be able to use his lead hand just a bit more in that fight. So that was a bit concerning. And you could maybe argue that he knows Crawford's ringside. He knows the fight is done for September. He maybe doesn't want to show him too much, or he wants to give him maybe false confidence or false hope. I don't think that's the case. I think you get rid of Skull if you can. And I'm just not sure Canelo is able to do it anymore at that level. Definitely good enough to beat a guy like Skull. Skull was clearly terrified of the power, but, what does this mean for a fight like Crawford? Well, the first thing I noticed was in the face-off, and I'm sure Crawford was wearing quite thick-soled trainers, as he quite often does, but the size difference didn't look...
That's all for today's breakdown. Stay locked in. The drama is only just beginning.